Another problem was that balance of where does the disability stop and a learned behavior start?
Exactly.
And we had that last summer. And I realized that Spencer sort of became dysfunctional because I was so supportive. And when I realized that, then I pulled back completely and said, fall on your face, do what you have to do. You're still young, you're still in my home, you're protected, and go ahead, you have the skill. I'm not going to allow you to be lazy just because this is a learned behavior. And I think that's a very, very tricky aspect of any child with disabilities, to understand where the disability ends and the learned behavior begins.
Yeah, I think it is a very interesting moment you just highlighted, because I'm sure lots of families going through this issue, because, you know, these children, they became like, you know, babies in the family, and they little bit disabled and things, and they overprotected very often. But again, this overprotection, we need really, how say, you know, to keep an eye on it all the time, because child is changing, developing, and we need to readjust that level of support, and, you know, how much we can put on their shoulders, how much independence they need and required actually in order to integrate later on in our society. So especially now he's a 17, and I'm sure you just doing the absolutely right thing, pushing him a little bit, you know, be in order to be independent, and just realize how much he can do and enjoy actually.
Absolutely. And he can. This year, he finally, all of the work that we've been doing in terms of social, which has been beyond monotonous and just repetitive, and year after year, and social skills group after social skills group, and, you know, therapist appointments and things like that. And this year, it finally clicked, and Spencer got himself a true blue best friend that he doesn't perseverate, and you know, it is reciprocal, back and forth, does more than just hog the conversation. And as a result of it, his grades stepped down a little bit, and I thought to myself, this is okay. You know, he had never ever gotten a C, ever. He just started getting B's this year. And I realized, you know what, this is okay, because what I really want is a well-rounded, happy child that can assimilate into the world. And if he's just getting A's and doesn't know how to talk to his boss, then that's not great either. And
I'm sure he will be very talented in one or another way, and he will find his, you know, profession he will enjoy. But of these social skills, if he doesn't really, you know, develop to some extent, it would hold him back from enjoying his profession as well. And
he really has finally reached a new level of happiness now that he has that social life. He really has. And, you know, he's 17, and every Saturday night was spent with his mommy. And now he's exciting.
It is exciting, and I think this is again the dream of each probably mother of a child with autism. So because we so worry about them, they not be safe, they can be used, manipulated in our not very, how say, cozy, fluffy world, because we meet different type of people. And children with autism, they're very sort of naive, they're very vulnerable, they're very sweet. But again, some people can use this quality. And we just want them safe, happy. And I think that's, again, what you just observed now with Spencer. I think it's a great, you know, journey towards that happiness in terms of his being independent, socializing well, you know, and finding himself in this world, and create this circle, safe circle of people he will communicate with. That sounds very good. So, but obviously, being nutritionist myself, I want to ask you again this question. I know you didn't have a huge success with a dietary approach. But what kind of, and maybe you just tell a little bit about it, but I want other people to know about it, because not everybody experience great success, and what kind of lesson we can, again, take from that particular experience.
So I did try the gluten-free thing, and like I said, I tried everything with Spencer, and it was about picking and choosing the battles with him. I do feel that nutrition is very important, plays an active role in anybody's life. I tried helping Spencer along with different foods and things like that, and we even did food therapy as it was integrated into OT, because they found that when they have that proprioceptive input, or they're in a swing, in a cocoon-like state, that they're more likely to accept food. We did all of that. Nothing worked for Spencer. He just wouldn't take it. And it got to the point where I actually had stopped feeding him for 3 days, because I was so desperate to try and get other foods in him. And he just stopped eating. So again, I had to pick and choose my battles. And now at this stage where we are now, I think that he would be more amenable to it. So I never made that one of my battles, so to speak, because it just seemed like in the big scheme of things, we had other things to tackle. Now he's old enough, and he has taken his nutrition and his exercise and body into his own hands, and has taken ownership of that, that this is probably going to be the time that we start to talk about it. Spencer he works at a gym, and he now makes fitness part of his regular life. He is very motivated to get off of his ADHD medication. And so I've just been sort of sprinkling it in there, like maybe with food and some things like that, proper supplementation. That could be a real,
and this is a real, that's really at some point can sort of say, this is what we do now, and we know so much that we really can help. What I can see, I mean, probably the dietary sort of changes were not reinforced in a sort of a soft way, with the help of, again, the professional, like you did with other professionals, which would really,
there was nothing
to do it little by little, and manifest the sort of effect. Because what we know, nutrition is a base. So then probably all your other journey would be just maybe a little bit even easier. Because again, the behavior is changing, and the responsive of the brain is changing. Neuroplasticity is enhanced when we've got good building material in the body. So what I could sort of see that, if, for example, we could meet a little bit early with you, it would be probably
no, that's the thing, is that that could have been when Spencer was diagnosed at 2. And I was dealing with all sorts of behaviors, that could have been part of it, the sensory, the OT, the speech, nutrition, all part of it. I think that's very important. And I think the message just goes back to what we said earlier: early intervention on every level.
Absolutely.
Yeah, there was no support for that.
Another good point, if I may, this is, you've been very brave, tried to keep him from the bad food for 3 days. And of course, as a mother, you've been scared. And that's, I think, again, what lots of people maybe try and then just can't resist, because my special child, he's going to starve, and that's very difficult. Again, with the help of professional, we can take away that fear from you, and we can see the way we're working. It's much easier way to go through these changes. And what I can say, 3 days, if your child is really hungry, they will start to eat something, even liquid food. That's what we can do, and don't be afraid. So that's my message to others.
And I think it's important to understand that professionals need to work with the parents as well. Absolutely. And so that is how I segued into what I'm doing now, because I felt that nobody was teaching me. I had to teach myself. So when you say things like, we need to help the parents, we need to support the parents, that is something that was lacking for me
Mm-hmm.
was my support. Nobody was there cheering me on and saying, you know, look, Elise, this is the way that you have to do it when we're not here. They just simply did it with Spencer when he was with them.
Mm-hmm.
And if you can't teach the parent, it's only 50%.
Yes.
It's
Oh
only 50%.
yes. Oh yes. Or even less. I think, you know, I think again, it's absolutely correct. And still now we've got professionals who just dealing with the children. But what we learn more and more, and I think a holistic approach to the problem, which is huge right now, is absolutely essential to achieve the good results. And I think you've done tremendous work and absolutely fantastic results in spite of anything, lack of information, lack of support. You're just like, you know, one of these two mothers I take chapeau in front of, because, you know, you are just followed your, you know, instinct and did lots of things what was available or even unavailable. You found the resources, and this is you know, great results. And obviously I just want to mention, because the lack of support you had, Elise now is coaching other parents who've been in a very difficult situation, because I think going through all this journey, accumulating so much experience and information, you are, you know, in the best position actually to help other parents to go through this difficult period. Just a little bit about what you do then.
I called myself a parenting coach because I created what I didn't have. I was encouraged by my friends to start doing this. It started sort of in an organic way. And I always tell people, I provide what I wish someone would have provided me. Sometimes as a parent, all you want is someone to give you a hug and say, I understand that it's difficult, but you know what? We have to do it this way, and this is the way it's going to be, and this is what your team says needs to be done. And so I provide the support and also the follow through on all of that.
It's a huge knowledge. It's like a walking encyclopedia with a huge heart. And I think this is a fantastic job you do. And I'm sure lots of parents who are in touch with you really appreciate. Special children, especially challenging, but it's also, you know, the results so fantastic. They became very young, mature, great citizens of our society, and they, as you said, always challenge us. It means we're learning all the time. And
Always.
what I found, the parents of children with autism, the best students ever, because they're so hungry for this information, because they want to help a child. And that's just so great to see. It's so interesting to work and support people in this situation. But I just...
you got to put the work in, but it's worth it. Take some time and stomp your feet and say, it's not fair. Go in the corner, cry, do what you have to do. You know, everybody's human. Absolutely. I'm not saying that I didn't have many moments that were peppered with those things. But you cry, you stomp your feet, you say it's not fair, and then you go, okay, I have to fight with the school board now, let's go, you know, and you just move forward. And I think that all the parents do that. And you know, they're amazing people, because they do fight for their kids, and they need solutions.
Yeah,
you know.
absolutely. Well, I think it was a fantastic conclusion of our conversation from your side. This was very nice summary and sort of encouragement and empowering the people who are still looking for support and information. So we just hope we're there for them to help, to provide further resources and advice, and just a big hug if they need
a big hug, a big virtual hug.
Big virtual hug for everyone. Thank you very much. Thank you, Elise. It was great to talk to you.
Thank you so much.
Bye-bye for now.
Bye-bye.